WWE Smackdown provided us with a lot of new directions for some of the big storylines, including Roman Reigns and everything going on with Seth Rollins and Murphy. Let's start off with everything going on between Seth Rollins, Murphy, and Aalyah Mysterio, because you usually don't want to call something horrible, but this is horrible writing, and everyone picked up on it. Murphy returns to WWE Smackdown for the first time since December 4th, which is great to have him back. But the matter in which he returned was just horrible writing. Murphy, after being gone for 3 months with no explanation given to the audience, just returns and instantly crawls back to Seth Rollins. What is wrong with this character and the lack of logic in WWE? Murphy spent the back half of 2020 breaking away from Seth Rollins, fighting that inner conflict of aligning with Seth Rollins, or breaking away from Seth Rollins to be his own man. Aalyah Mysterio and the rest of the Mysterio family saw the good in Murphy and helped him transition and break away from Seth Rollins. They spent months building up that Murphy and Aalyah relationship, having Murphy spent weeks trying to prove to the Mysterio family that he was on their side, and they finally accepted him. Then Murphy disappears for several months, returns, and we're supposed to forget any of that stuff happened? Like if it was a dream or something. It just doesn't make any sense. Of course, Seth Rollins and Murphy were a great duo, and it'll be great to see them back together. But based on everything we saw with the breakup of Seth Rollins and Murphy last year, it makes absolutely no sense at all to see him crawl back to Seth Rollins. It also makes you lose respect for the character as well, because he's just going back to his old ways, even after everything we saw last year. Like, where's the character evolution for Murphy? Why is he going backwards and not forward? In typical WWE fashion, there's no explanation or follow-up for Aalyah's absence at all either. Reports claim that Vince McMahon and WWE simply had no further plans for her, and she's been tossed out of the plans. Being someone that loves storytelling, it's the worst thing ever to see so much time spent on a previous storyline, and then they want to act like it never happened. It just makes you feel like nothing has any real substance on this show. We don't know if it'll be explained to us in the coming weeks, most likely not. But judging by Murphy's body language and crawling back to Seth Rollins, it's safe to assume that Murphy and Aalyah broke up off screen. That's the only thing that makes sense, so we gotta go with that. But it was great to see Murphy back on WWE Smackdown. It's unfortunate that it was just a horrible way for the character to return. We'll see what's next for this storyline and if WWE can correct their horrible mistakes here. Speaking of WWE Smackdown, that brings us to the WWE Universal Title picture with Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan. Jey had one job: defeat Daniel Bryan, and the WWE Universal Title doesn't have to be defended until WrestleMania. Roman Reigns even added the pressure on by telling Jey not to embarrass their family and to get the job done. Jey unfortunately didn't get that job done. He tapped out to Daniel Bryan, and Roman Reigns will now have to put the title on the line at Fastlane, which you already know he isn't too pleased with. That brings up our theory of, will Roman Reigns punish Jey next week on SmackDown? It's a good theory, and it makes sense because we've already seen this happen before, where Roman Reigns will punish Jey for embarrassing their family. It looks like Jey is well in line for a punishment. There's no way Roman lets this loss slide unnoticed, especially the fact that Jey tapped out. There's been a lot of talks about Jimmy's return lately. So, will Jimmy's return play a role in this new tension between Roman and Jey? With tensions potentially getting rocky again between Roman and Jey in the coming weeks after this loss, it's going to be a great opportunity to reintroduce Jimmy to try to fix everything out. And who knows, maybe Roman somehow even forces Jimmy to beat down his brother Jey somewhere along the way as well. Jey tore his ACL back in WrestleMania last year, which is a devastating injury, but Jimmy posted footage of him running and jogging in the Performance Center. So it's a good sign, and he seems close to returning. So it'll be interesting to see how he's brought back and if they'll do anything to punish Jey and use it to be Jimmy's entry back into the bloodline. Also, in SmackDown related news, we have Apollo Crews' new character and transformation. Apollo is now embracing his heritage and the royalty that his character comes from, and is putting it on full display on screen. He claims that this isn't the new Apollo at all, that this is the real Apollo. The character transformation has been absolutely amazing so far. For the first time in probably his whole WWE career, his character feels rich. It feels like it now has a deep personality to it. It's going to be great to see how this story unfolds and what we will continue to see from the royalty version of Apollo Crews. But you do have to remember that this is WWE after all, and they don't stay committed to anything for that long. So it's possible that this entire new gimmick and character can be dropped at any time. But hopefully not, because there's a lot of potential here with this newly discovered persona. Apollo also brought out 2 military guards with him, played by Denzel Desjardins and Matrick Belton. Both of the guards are already full-time WWE talent and are both pro wrestlers, so they look like they'll definitely be getting involved as well. As of this current moment, it appears that the guards will be sticking by Apollo's side. But like we mentioned before, WWE can just randomly decide that they don't like the guards anymore, and they could be gone at a moment's notice. Similar to King Corbin's guards, so you just never know what to expect with WWE. But as of this moment, it looks like this trio will be here to stay. What's also quite interesting is that Roman Reigns may be the reason why we're seeing this new version of Apollo. Remember that Roman Reigns and Apollo were seen talking in Roman's locker room several weeks before the Royal Rumble. It wasn't revealed to us what they said to each other or what topic of discussion was between the two, but we're to assume that Apollo most likely went in there asking for some sort of advice or guidance from Roman Reigns on how to get his career back on track. The Roman Reigns character is pretty ruthless right now, but if there's one thing he likes, it's when a superstar comes to him and acknowledges him as the tribal chief. So maybe Roman really loved the respect Apollo was showing him and gave him some advice, and that's what motivated Apollo to bring out this new persona. Everyone thought that maybe Apollo would be joining Roman's faction to add more manpower, but that doesn't seem like the case at all. Whatever Roman Reigns told Apollo is likely what led Apollo to turn heel and embrace his family heritage, which is literally following in Roman's footsteps. Roman turned heel and truly embraced his family background and called himself the tribal chief of his family. Apollo probably took inspiration from that. He saw the success Roman had, and now Apollo seems to be calling himself the current leader of his royal family as well. So it's unknown if that was WWE's intention, but it's cool to see the similarities between Roman and Apollo, especially after Roman gave Apollo some advice for his career. Apollo is chasing the Intercontinental Championship right now. We'll have to see if Apollo will ever make his way up to the WWE Universal Title picture and possibly challenge the man who helped him, Roman Reigns. But what are your thoughts on all of today's news and updates from WWE Smackdown? Leave your comments. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.